Welcome to another podcast with Raise Your Vibes. This is Miriam Khan. Today's topic is all about looking at raising our voice, speaking our truth, trying to empower ourselves, trying to help ourselves to overcome some of the harshest battles that we faced. You know, many of us sometimes bury deep hidden pain, deep hidden trauma, deep hidden feelings about real life situations that we wish we could express, but often we don't. We sort of hide it, we keep it hidden for whatever reason. We keep these feelings, we keep these emotions deep down to the bottom of our souls. And sometimes we do it for various reasons. We do it to protect ourselves. We do it to protect others. We do it to protect those around us. Sometimes we do it to protect our own deep hidden fears of not actually enabling ourselves to feel what we really feel. And it's only when we really learn to let go and to emancipate ourselves and to really express ourselves do we shatter those illusions. You know, for those of you that are into your chakras, this is really good for your throat chakra, to releasing, you know, the things that you really hold on to, almost like this dead weight that is you're carrying around, and you're not allowing yourself to really feel and to really express yourself. And sometimes this resonates in other aspects of our lives. We don't realize it, but we do. We have this small innateness of fear that we hold on to, whether it's in our heart, whether it's within our friendships, our relationships. We don't allow ourselves to fully be, because that small anchor of weight, of fear, of dread, of worry, of concern, of judgment. What are other people going to think? What are other people going to say when I finally reveal how I truly feel? You know? And we let that linger. We let it continue to hold on to us. We continue to let it stagnate us. And we don't allow ourselves to grow. We don't allow ourselves to flow. So these are things that we have to look at. Sometimes when we do, let go of that fear, we let go of that control, and we allow ourselves to be, and we allow ourselves to move forward, it can be a beautiful thing. It can have a huge ripple effect, a huge implication onto other aspects of our lives without us realizing. You know, there are times and places, yes, that we should be refrained from speaking evidently, quite clearly, quite honestly, quite truthfully. There are times when we don't want to hurt someone else. There are times when we don't want to impinge our job, hurt our job. You know, we might not want to be destructive as well. We're not being a narcissist, for example. We're not gaslighting. There are times when, you know, there are situations where we have to refrain from telling someone exactly what is going on. But there are other times too where we must let go of those fears and basically say what is evident, what is true. And, you know, there are times when that is not going to be straightforward and easy for some individuals. Some individuals will harbour onto that particular control. And this is where your id and your ego come in. Then there are other individuals who will emancipate themselves and just think, you know what, the hell with it. I'm just going to say exactly how I feel. I don't care of the repercussions. I don't care of the implications. I don't care necessarily who I'm going to hurt. And they don't mean it in a victorious way. They don't mean it in an egotistical way. It's more about them emancipating themselves and saying, this is who I am. I'm standing in my light. This is who I am as a character, as a person, as a human being. And there's not a lot you can do about it, to be fair, you know? And these people are standing in their truth. They're standing in their light. They're standing in who they are, who they wish to be, who they wish to move forward with. And sometimes you find that some friendships, some relationships wither away. They no longer serve us anymore when you've spoken that truth. You'll have some friends that totally admire you, totally respect the fact that you've stood up for yourself and told it how it is. And then there are others who just wither away and pretend that conversation didn't happen, or basically make you out to be the bad guy. You know, they see you as being toxic. They see you as being the gaslighter, the narcissist, which isn't necessarily true. So there are occasions when we have to stand in our light, and we have to stand in our truth and say things how they are. And that's not always easy to do. It takes courage. It takes real courage to stand proud and to say, this is who I am. This is where I'm coming from. This is my truth. There are cases, when you go through it as a counsellor, where individuals have not been believed, individuals haven't been heard, individuals haven't been recognised for speaking up, for example, about trauma or pain, or for speaking up about what's happened to them. And the amount of times that they bury that is humongous. And it only leads to negativity, it only leads to damage, and it also leads to control. And it also has this mirror effect and ripple effect of fear, which has massive repercussions as well. And it's those things that concern me, especially as a counsellor, especially someone as a life coach and motivational speaker. When I see people not standing in their truth, and I see people holding on and biting their tongue to the point where their tongue is bleeding. We can only do it for so long before it has that impact on us where we can't let go, we can't move forward, and we can't allow ourselves to be free. It takes sheer guts to be able to say that this is what happened to me. If we're dealing with trauma, for example, if we are dealing with situations where we're unhappy in a relationship or a friendship, sometimes speaking your truth helps you to reinforce those boundaries, helps you to put things back into place where they should be. And again, we've had many discussions about this before, where if that person is a true friend, they'll respect those boundaries. They'll respect the fact that you are putting in your truth. You are putting in situations where you are allowing yourself to be enabled, and you are allowing yourself to be strong. And you're not allowing other people to walk all over you and to walk over your particular way and your beliefs and your faith and your respect, And we have to do that. There are times when individuals will do everything they can in their power to take away your control, to take away your light, to take away your inner being and your essence. And some of that comes down to the fact that they are egotistical, narcissistic, and some of it is power and control. There are various dynamics. It depends completely upon your situation, of course. We are, at the end of it, souls. We're here to learn a lesson. We're here to learn from each other. We're here to learn from one person to the next. There are times when we have to stand our ground. There are times when we have to say that whatever is happening, whether it's injustice or justice or in between, we stand our ground. And we say that this particular scenario, this particular predicament is not acceptable to us or to each other. We make changes. We strive to move forward. Sometimes we have to go back to learn a lesson again, and sometimes we can't. There are times when we just have to let things be. But more importantly, there are times when you have to really stand up and stand your ground and say that this particular scenario doesn't roll with me. This particular situation is not making me happy. Or actually the opposite side of saying to someone, this is how I really feel about you. I've buried my feelings, I've buried my emotions, but now I'm strong enough to tell you. And yes, we can face rejection. Yes, we can face consequences and implications of that. We can be rejected massively. But the point is, you've had the courage to actually voice it. You've had the courage to speak it. The consequences of that and the implications of that you can deal with. You're grown, But it's the fact that you express it in the first place, the fact that you find the courage to say it. In a job situation, there might be particular people, particular situations, scenarios where not necessarily the people you work with are people you like, but you bite your tongue, you get on with it. And there are times when they will push those boundaries and you have to put them in place. So there is a knock-on effect of speaking your truth. It's not just one particular scenario. It's various scenarios that are going to happen in your life. Once you start speaking your truth evidently, it has a massive ripple effect in everything else, because you get to the point where it's dangerously easy to say, no, this is not happening with me. No, you're not going to do that. And yes, I will allow this particular boundary to come in. Have a think, reflect, look at your particular life, look at your particular scenario, and see where in your particular aspect of your being, of your family, of your relationships, of your friendships, your work patterns, where do you need to make some changes? Perhaps you're doing it already, that's fine. Perhaps you need to just reinforce them a little bit more. No, there's no wrong way, there's no right way. It's all about moving forward, striving forward, learning from the past, learning from an hour ago, learning from maybe 2 hours ago, maybe from 10 years ago. The point is, are you moving forward? Are you learning? Are you standing your ground? Are you speaking your truth? Are you standing in your light? God bless. Take care. Keep striving forward, y'all. Bye-bye for now.